Hey everybody, Cole here with Classic Mini DIY, and this video is going to be part about the update to my Bad Wolf engine build, all the stuff that I'm doing with it right now, why it's on the floor still, and the other part is going to be related to the channel as a whole. It's a topic I didn't really want to talk about on the channel. I didn't really want to dive into this because I felt like it was not necessary, but unfortunately there have been some recent events that kind of prompted this chat. Now when I started this channel, I began this journey as someone who's not an expert on minis. And over the years, I have grown my knowledge on minis, but I am still not an expert on minis. I'm not someone who knows everything. I'm not someone who knows every single little nuanced thing about the minis. And the reason I'm saying all this stuff is it's really important to me that you guys understand that all the stuff I do on this channel is about helping you guys learn through my experiences and my mistakes. And I inevitably am going to make mistakes on this channel. I'm going to make mistakes on, when I'm assembling things. I'm going to make mistakes on when I'm disassembling things. Now you might be wondering, Cole, why are you going into all this stuff? What's the point of this whole, spiel that you're giving me right now? Well, as a YouTuber, as someone who makes videos and shares them with lots of people, I'm bound to get some criticism, I'm bound to get some negative remarks, and that's totally fine. One thing that I really want this channel to be is a place where everybody can feel like they can ask those, quote, stupid questions and get good answers without a bunch of hate and a bunch of trolling and a bunch of meanness. Now, I know everybody's method of explaining things is not the same as mine, and that's fine. And getting comments that, tell me I'm doing something wrong are good. I want those. I want those comments. But I've received some DMs from people here recently. I'm not going to share those. I'm not going to share who sent them to me. But they were extremely rude, extremely mean. And I can take it. I do this, I put myself out here publicly, but I want you guys to understand that that kind of talk and that kind of rudeness is not going to be acceptable in the comment sections on my videos. Those comments will be deleted. And moving forward, I just want all of you guys to really understand that I am still an amateur when it comes to all of this mechanical stuff on the car. I know things, but I don't know everything. So it's just important to me that you understand that I am spending hours and hours making these videos, spending tons of time laying out the lights the way they need to be, getting the camera angles, doing projects on my car that I might not necessarily be doing, all because I really want to share this with you guys. So, what I'm asking for in return from my viewers is just a mutual level of respect and being willing to share and explain how I might have done something wrong in a non-combative way. I know it's tough to do that on the internet because tone is often lost. But keep in mind, I am always open to feedback, and I will absolutely take that feedback and implement it in my videos. One of the best examples of me making a mistake is when I timed the engine on my Bad Wolf Mini incorrectly. And after some guidance, after some feedback from people, I found out that I did that wrong. And the result is I had to pull the engine again. So I'm not afraid of, accepting fault and accepting the fact that I did something wrong. But I think that's enough of all that right now. One thing I do really want to say is thank you so much to everybody who supports me on Patreon. It really does help me. It really does show that you guys care about the videos I'm making. So thank you so much for all of you who do that. No matter what your donation amount is, truly, it's something I very, very much appreciate. So let's go look at the engine. Let's talk about what's going on with the Bad Wolf engine build and give you guys kind of a rundown of what's up. Okay, so now to get back into kind of more positive things. We are looking at my 1293 here. Obviously the engine is out and the head is off, and there's a lot of stuff that's a lot different than the way it was when I first pulled it out in that episode 2 episodes ago. Now the first thing that you'll probably notice is that this timing cover is updated. This is an MED timing cover. It's out of a CNC'd aluminum. I was going to do an install video on this and show you guys, how this gets all bolted up, how cool it is, all that kind of stuff. But like I said in my gearbox video, I started working on all of this, and then all of a sudden it was 3 hours later and I hadn't filmed anything at all. And the reason that is because, sometimes it's just nice to get in here and work on your engine and just kind of enjoy yourself. Now, I do want to go over a few things and explain to you guys why I updated this. I did buy this myself for Christmas. What I was struggling with my old timing cover was a consistent leak around the pulley right here, as well as some leaks around the edges, things like that. I had the timing cover off twice and I just could not get it to seal, which was incredibly frustrating. But also, I did time it incorrectly when I first put it on here. Now let me take this first little portion of the cover off here so you guys can get a better look at this. All right, so one of the cool things about this timing cover system is that you get access to your adjustable timing gear if you have one, or if it's just a fixed timing gear, I guess you would have access to that as well. Without taking off all of the timing cover itself, breaking that seal, there is a flat plate of aluminum that then mounts and seals against a small little O-ring, a small little like rubber seal. So now, in the event that the 6 times that I went through and remeasured and readjusted and remeasured this thing with it out again here, that I still have it timed incorrectly, it's going to be much easier for me to get in there and adjust the timing now. All I would have to do is remove the radiator, the pulley, and then this cover will come right off with those Allen bolts. Now, it was just a little bit too advanced, so the result of that was I was getting a much hotter burn and my exhaust was getting too hot, and I just couldn't get it timed just the way that I needed to. So to solve that, took the engine back out. And one thing that I did do, which you didn't technically need to do, was take off the cylinder head, because degreeing your camshaft is much easier when you have access to the real actual pistons down here, as opposed to trying to find top dead center with like a screwdriver through the spark plug hole. Someone who is more experienced than me probably could do it through that spark plug hole and then on one of the lifters that's on the top of the head, but for me, I decided that it would be better if I just went ahead and took it off. I was more confident in myself to be able to get the correct measurement this way. And then that kind of wrapped up this side of the engine here. Now, the last thing I haven't done yet was put this back on and put the pulley back in. And the reason I haven't done that yet is because I'm still kind of mulling over the idea of getting an MED pulley. They're expensive, no doubt about that, but I think it would look so much nicer than this old blue pulley I have here. This just tattered and worn, and I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but I'll make a decision before the engine goes back in for sure. One of the other issues I was having was actually related to one of the output covers for the differential. The output cover looks something like this. I'll roll it around so I can show you exactly what's going on, but the output cover on one side of my engine, the side that actually has the mount for your exhaust system to kind of stabilize it as it comes down behind your engine, that bolt hole is completely stripped. But unfortunately, what that means is I'm going to have to take the output cover off again. I'm going to have to helicoil that hole. Hopefully I can figure out how to do that and it won't be too difficult, but we'll find out. But when I take that off and I do that part of the job, I'll definitely bring you guys along, because I imagine at least one of you guys are going to have to do a helicoil, and it'll be cool to learn how to do that together. All right, so as you can see, we're looking at the back of the engine here, and the hole that I'm talking about is actually the one right down at the very bottom here. That's where your exhaust actually mounts up. So your exhaust runs off the back of your engine down here and out the bottom, and there's a small stabilizer that comes down and actually mounts up to that hole there. So it is relatively important for that to, work. Otherwise, you're going to have kind of a rattly and annoying exhaust. Now, one other issue I was running into with my clutch, at least I initially thought it was an issue with the clutch, but what I found out was it was actually related to the cover that I was using. So you might notice, if you have a really sharp, keen eye, is that the finish on this walk, or this clutch cover, I call it a walk because I think it's funny, this finish is slightly different than the actual transfer case. And the reason that is because this cover is actually from the remote box that I pulled off of the 998. Now, the reason I'm using this remote box is because this output shaft right here was way too loose inside the cover here. So when I would actuate the clutch or let off the clutch, I had this consistent, every single time, it was like clank, 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 every time, and it was the actual shaft bouncing around inside that hole, which is annoying. it's very annoying after a little while. I thought it would be something that I would be able to deal with and it wouldn't be such a big deal, but I was very wrong. So I went ahead and stole this cover. I'm gonna get another remote housing cover for the 998, so don't worry, that's still gonna stay, you know, original spec-ish, you know. So yeah, I mean, that kind of covers the majority of the things that I pulled the engine for. The hardest one, obviously, was the timing, and then this helicoil. I really just didn't want to do that while it was in the car. I felt like it would just be such a pain in the ass, and I just didn't want to deal with that. So I pulled that out, and I'm doing it out of the car. Now, there's one other thing I want to show you guys, and I really want your opinion on this. This is going to be kind of a question for, you know, the people who have some experience with, you know, breather systems and things. So, one sec. Now, you guys might have been following off and on. I did previously carry these valve covers here, these slanted valve covers that were powder coated with a very, very nice, like, crinkle black powder coat. And because I wasn't selling a lot of them, it ended up not being cost effective for me to continue to carry those, although I would love to start carrying them again. I did have one that I kind of chopped up, I drilled holes in, and I had just like kind of tinkered with. And so I had my friend who is an expert welder add on some aluminum bungs to the valve cover, because I had this idea that it might be cool to build in, you know, one of the kind of race breather systems that's on some high compression minis. So basically I have 3 bungs on this thing. So take a look. I'll have one intake that's coming from the timing cover, one intake that's coming from the transfer case, and then an outlet. This would be run to a PCV or to a oil catch and then vented to atmosphere, or just directly vented to atmosphere. I thought it might be cool because, you know, you can use the valve cover and the rocker assembly as kind of like an oil mist separator, but I don't know how long-term how that would impact my oil, how it would impact my daily driving. So I'm really curious to see what you guys think. So if you haven't seen it, part 4 of this gearbox build is up. I think that I made a mistake in there with the pinion gear, which I will talk about in the next episode, of the gearbox build. And until that episode, until the next video, I guess enjoy those minis and motor on. I'll see you next time.